Hey everybody, we're going to do a few things here in this image. This is an old house in Xenia, Illinois, and we're going to fiddle with the windows basically. We're going to use some ContentAware Move. And I'm going to show you a pretty big twist on this. So typically, let's go in and kind of make this bigger. And here's our ContentAware Move tool. It's under the healing tools for good reason, and I'll show you more about that in a few minutes. We'll just go ahead and make a loose selection around this, and this is a typical ContentAware type thing. Maybe people, and you just let go and that snaps to the other end. Maybe people don't use it for exactly what I'm using here, but the method is pretty standard. So we just click inside this area that's selected now, and we can drag it somewhere else. So we'll just let go, and obviously it heals up where it came from and adds it over here where we dropped it. And we could have made the selection a lot better so we didn't get this edge around here, but this is basically just to show you a little bit about the tool. So we're going to go ahead and do this a few more times. We'll just make a loose selection around this, and you don't have to use this tool to make the selection. And we can just drop that one over there and it fixes this area. We can use let's just say we'll use the rectangular marquee tool, and we'll just draw a rectangle around it, and then we switch back and we can drag that over here, let go, and again it heals the wall, stacking our windows over there. But notice we aren't getting new layers each time we do that. So we're simply just moving an object. So let's do this one more time. This is a little awkward because part of it's going to be in shadow, so it won't be nearly as well healed up, I guess you could say, as what some of the other area is. So switch to the ContentAware Move tool, and we'll just put it up here, let's say. Okay, it didn't do a bad job. Now, if we do a Control-0 or Command-0 on a Mac, you see we've made the house a little bit unique, as if it wasn't already unique. But we've stacked all of our windows to the left-hand side, our left-hand side. Now, let me show you what I was talking about, a little twist. This tool can be used as a healing tool, period. And let me show you how. I'm going to revert this to get back to the original image. So I'll just go to File and down to Revert, or F12. And we're going to create some extra canvas. So I'm just going to go to Image and go down here where it says Canvas Size. I'm going to switch this to inches. And I'm going to say I want the added canvas to be on the right hand side, because this is going to be kind of a dumping place for the windows. So what I can do is click here to shift the image all the way to the left and create the new space right here on the right hand side. So I can just type in over here, let's just put in like 22 inches, click OK, and now you see this is our new canvas area. And there's lots of reasons to create canvas area. This particular case, you'll see it's just to collect junk, and then we'll get rid of it. So now, instead of what we did a while ago, we're going to, again, we can just take the rectangular marquee tool. You can do it with a quick selection, tool to make a selection of whatever. I'm going to go for speed over quality. And then with the ContentAware tool, ContentAware Move, I'm just going to take this over and drop it on this newly created canvas area. And the wall is healed, so we can do this again. And I'm just going to leave it on the ContentAware tool now and just go like this. And really not a good selection, but I just want to show you generally speaking how this works. And we'll make a quick selection out of this, dump it over there, and one more time. We could do this to the entire house if we wanted to. So now we've got all the windows gone on this side, and now all we have to do is turn on the crop tool. I'm just going to press the letter C. Whoops, let's escape that. We have a selection around that, so I'm going to do a Control D to turn that off. And we still have a selection area down here at the bottom, so let's turn on the crop tool again here, and let's cancel that, and we're going to move the crop area in. Let's see where we got. Let me zoom out here a little bit so we can see everything. I shifted that and I didn't mean to. We'll just crop and double click inside that, and we've gotten rid of all the windows, so we could do, you know, all the way around. But the thing is, we didn't have to go in and use a healing brush or you know, any of these tools here, spot healing or patch tool or anything, to get rid of that stuff. We simply did the ContentAware Move tool and just moved the stuff we didn't want into a dumping area and then crop that off. You see we got an issue here, but that's easily fixed. So this provides you with an idea of healing some of the stuff in your image a very quick way, and very little pain involved. Another thing that I wanted to show you while I've got your attention inside here, we've got these power lines, which can be the bane of many people working on their images. They just absolutely hate that being in here. And what we can do is go to the clone tool or the rubber stamp tool, whichever you want to call it, and we're going to make sure that our brush is right. Okay, our hardness is all the way to the left. That's fine. Let's make it a bit bigger. Move our mouse down here so we can see the size. So that's plenty big. And what I'm going to do, let's make the image a little bit bigger here, is I'm going to sample holding down my Alt key, Option key on a Macintosh. I'm going to click right here, and basically I'm just going to heal that area right there. Then I'm going to come up here, Alt click again, and heal this right here. That's all I need to do. It's just that edge. Then I'm going to come over here, and obviously I can't go all the way under the tree, so I'm going to pick a spot right in here, hold down my Alt key, Option key on a Mac, and just heal that. Come up here, Alt key, heal that. So now I'll make this a little bit smaller, and we can draw straight lines. Try this again. We can draw straight lines with this tool. We can also turn on the spot healing brush tool and left bracket key to make that smaller. Right bracket key makes the brush size bigger, and we want it small. So I'm just going to, if there's enough tension to make this a straight line, this works very well. It looks like we've got a little swag in it, so it may be more difficult, but we can click one time right here and run all the way over here and shift click, let go, and it did terrible. So let's do this instead. Control Z, and this time let's just do it with the cloning stamp tool or the rubber stamp tool and do the same thing. I'm going to make that a bit bigger, and I can alt click right here, click right there, and come up here and shift click. And see, it's not in a straight line, so that's a little bit problematic. So let's make this a little bit bigger, right bracket key, and I'm going to click here with my with my alt key to sample, and then come down here and let's try shift clicking there and shift click there. All right, let's go up here, and we will alt click or option click on a Mac to sample, then click once here, come down here and shift, hold down your shift key, click, and come up here, shift click, and shift click again. So that really helps. A lot of times you can use some of the other healing tools, the healing brush tool, to do that with. Excuse me. Or obviously we can also, let's Control Alt Z here a few times. We can also take and make a selection with the patch tool and just go like this, let go. But one of the key things is, you know, making these gaps in there, you know, like I first did, get a little sample and fill it in, because otherwise things smear like you see right there, and that becomes another little problem. Same thing on something that's vertical like this. We can obviously do a, let's go in here with the healing brush tool, let's make that bigger, and we can Control Alt Z that. I'm going to alt click right in here, and then that samples that, and see how it's smearing, and always a bad thing. So what we can do instead of doing that is get the rubber stamp tool again, and we sample from the immediate area, and don't just sample once and then paint the whole thing, because there are different shades of gray involved here. Let's zoom in. So we've got to use the smallest brush we can get by with and sample from different angles on this, and make sure your aligned up here is turned off. So we go in here, and like I said, you've got to make several selections. Do the same thing with these tree limbs. You don't just sample from one place. Otherwise, you get a pattern buildup and things blur, and it's really, really obvious to people that are looking at your work, and kind of embarrassing when they point out, hey, this looks like you've got a pattern build up here. So now we can make the brush a little bit bigger, just enough to cover this, and we can alt click right here to sample, and move over here, click once, come down here, shift click. And didn't cover completely, so we can go right back up again. Well, that's the key to drawing straight lines, is basically you could click once, we'll sample here, click once, come down here, shift click. Now what it did is ran by here and sampled this, because I sampled a little bit too far away from it. So if I click here with the alt key down, click, click, then it's away from those things, and it didn't sample something we didn't want. Again, try to keep the brush size the same size as the area, or I mean just a little bit bigger than the area you're trying to fix, and don't try to get too much at one time. We can go here and separate this. We can sample right here and paint to disconnect this from this. And we got to do a good job. Multiple samples, and then see, got a little blur going on. And now I can make the brush bigger, come up here, and I can alt click to sample that, come over here, click once, come down here, hold down the shift key and click again, and that's come back up, shift click, come over here, and you can click, shift click. Okay, so shift clicking is the way to draw those really fast lines. Okay, let's try it here. Sample with the Alt key down, Option key on a Mac, then I click here and shift click, and we get rid of stuff, you know, a lot of it in a hurry, and that's a biggie. We want to save all the time we can. Another thing we can do about this bottom area where we have tree limbs and pipes, we can sample from the sky. We can sample from this sky over here, and it's up to us where we want to sample from. But let's just use the rectangular marquee tool, and let's just go over here, and I'm going to click and drag a nice selection of clouds, and I'm going to do a Control J to put that on its own layer. It copies it, puts it on its own layer. Right there it is. So now I can turn on my Move tool or press the letter V as in victory. Click and drag that over here. Drag it as far down as I need to. And it covers up a lot of that. If I move my Move tool, I use my Move tool, or my arrow key, sorry. Right arrow key, see, it's moving it over basically a pixel or two at a time, so we can get that right on the edge. Well, you say, now we got a gap over there. Well, now we can do a Control T or Command T on a Mac to transform it, and then drag that over, double click, and we've got sky filling that whole area. Alright, and then we can do the same thing with grass. If we want to sample some grass, we can go right over here, get some good grass, and let's just go with that. Got to be on the right layer now. Let's go ahead and drop this layer down, and if you notice over here, that wasn't exactly lined up. See this right here? It's overlapping the brick a little bit, so I can actually put a mask on this right here, this little square donut, and then I can paint. And if you notice, you got this little square right here. Well, that's because I made that selection over here, and I should have undone that. If we do a Control-Z a couple of times, see, there's that area. So I'm going to do a Control-D to turn that off, and then go back over here, click on the square donut, come back over, and what I have to do is paint and kind of clean this edge up. Now, obviously, if you're going to paint that on a straight edge like that, the brush has to be hard. It can't be a soft edge brush, or it's really going to look pretty bad. So we click on the regular brush tool right here, or press the letter B, And let's look for a brush. So we want the hardness to be all the way to the right, 100%. And let's make a brush that we can actually see. And we can start right here. Now remember, we're painting in this. If the brackets of these little brackets are around the wrong side, it won't work. You have to have it around the mask area, and then we go over here and change this to black over white so we can press the letter X. Now if black and white don't happen to be there, press the letter D as in dog, and black and white will show up in the color picker. And then if black's not on top, you press the letter X, and then we go up here, and I'm going to click. Here we go with the shift clicking again. I'm going to click here and go up here and shift click. See how it erased? Draw those straight lines. And the reason it's not erasing very well is the opacity is only on 30%. So we run that up. Let's make the brush a little bit smaller. And we can do that. So we filled that area in pretty nicely. We can be more sophisticated, take a little more time and get it all just right, but I just wanted to show you how to do that. Now let's just drop this on top of the house layer so we don't have all these extra layers. So I'm going to hold down my control key and press the letter E, and now it's all, one layer. Okay, so now again I'm going to turn on my rectangular marquee tool and come over here, and I can sample some of this grass. So Control J puts the grass on its own layer. Press the letter V for the move tool, and I can move this grass over here wherever I want it to be. Now notice here's pretty much the horizon line. How high the grass can go is right here. So I can actually draw a guide down. So let's do a Control R, which turns on our ruler, Command R on a Mac, and let's just click and drag a guide down. So right here shows us that's the top where the grass is. So now we take our grass, move tool, and we can move that over here. Okay. Now obviously it's covering up part of our building. It's not going all the way up there. That's okay. We're going to zoom in, and we don't need that guide anymore. We know that's as high as we want to take the grass. So with the move tool on, notice now it turns into brackets. We can click and hold that down and just drag that out of our way. Okay, we'll do the same thing here that we did on the white. We will make a little square donut here for a mask. Make sure the mask is selected, and let's zoom in. We turn on a paintbrush. Again, we want to make sure it's hard, and the size is not real important, so we can just go right here, and black needs to be on top. We can paint that out of the way. Now here we need a straight edge. Zoom in a little bit more. So I hold it down right here, click once, and I can come down here. Oh, we really need a straight line, don't we? So I go over here to the left side where the ruler is, click and drag a guide out. And now we know how far to paint. So I can click here and come down here and shift click, right? There's the edge of our foundation. Let's paint this. Alright, let's move our guide. Press the letter V as in victory. Come over here until it turns into a bracket, and we drag that right out of the way. Zoom out. Now the grass obviously is a different color over here than it is over here. So this would have been the smarter place to have grabbed some grass, right? So let's just throw this away. Let's click on the trash can and we get rid of that. And let's grab some grass from right in here. So we click and drag. Got some that we don't really need, that's okay. We'll do a Control J. That copies it and puts it on its own layer. So there's the grass. Turn on the Move tool, letter V, and bring it up here. Now I've forgotten where the grass line was, so I need to zoom out. That's Control minus, and I'm going to bring the guideline back again. So that's how far up the grass could go. And we just go right back over here and hold down the Control key, the space bar, and click a few times. Then I'm holding down the space bar to move it around. Just space bar down, click and drag. Alright, so now we can move our grass around, and up here is really as high as it needs to go. So we can put it, let's say, right in there. We can also do a Control T and make that bigger. Obviously it's going to look a little bit funny, so you don't want to get carried away doing that, because it's not going to, it's going to look out of place with everything else. Alright, so let's do what we did a while ago. Go down here at the bottom of the layers palette and click on the layer mask icon. And we're going to paint with our paintbrush, black on top, and we go up here. We need a guideline, so click and drag a guide out to go right down the edge of the house. And we click once here, and we go down here and click again. So that cleaned that up pretty nicely. Now we can make these blend a bit better by changing the opacity around 30% and make our brush soft. Go up here, soften this all the way over, and make the brush a little bit bigger. Now we're still painting in the mask, and then we just start painting like this. And that straight line that was there goes away. Okay, so let's get rid of these guides. Let's do press the letter V, turns into the bracket. Take this one to the top. So we know we need some more sky to fill this in, right? And we got a little bit of a color change, weird edge right here, so let's paint some more. See how that just blended right in? That's what we like. And we can easily take care of that in just a second. So let's go Control minus, Command minus on a Mac. And really what we need to do is just grab some more of this sky to fill that gap right there. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and we'll bring this down on top of the background layer. So we can do a Control E, Command E on a Mac. Now it's all one image again. Let's get the rectangular marquee tool and let's just click this area. This is right here is what we need to fill. Alright, so now I'm just going to push this with the rectangular marquee tool on. I'm going to slide that upwards so I can get that exact shape. And now I can do a Control J to copy that, put it on its own layer. There's that one little piece. So now I can turn on my Move tool or press the letter V, and this time I'm just going to use my arrow keys, down arrow key. there it is. So let's back out, and holding down my control key, hitting the letter 0 or the number 0, and filling my screen with the image. So it looks a little plain over there, but it's fixed, right? So let's once again go over to layer 1, do a control E, and we'll go right over here to where this post is still sticking up. And so many ways we can fix this, but we'll just go ahead and use the what will we use? Let's try the healing brush and see what kind of a job we can do with it. So just painting, and it looks terrible, so let's control Z that. Let's try the patch tool. Let's grab a little bit of area like this. Oop, that wasn't that great of a selection, was it? Let me try it again. Click around here. And let's just move it over a little bit. Gives you a preview. You can see what's going on inside that selection area. Let go. Pretty good. Control 0. And it looks a whole lot better than it did a while ago. We can go ahead and clean up. We know so much about healing stuff and fixing stuff now. We can easily take care of these branches and get rid of the power lines. And we can turn around and do the same thing we did over here and fix these trees and that house, get rid of the car. So many things that we just learned in this short video. That the ContentAware tool is what really got us going, right? Got rid of all those windows, and we could just have a solid brick wall there if we wanted to. Hopefully you got something out of this. I enjoyed doing it, and I'll talk to you all later.